we're more than 300,000 people and 125 years strong. And with hard work and imagination, we drive the engine of progress. Because when one of us grows, we all do. Together. GE. Together, we work.
All right. Thank you. So I guess we have a little bit of news today at GE, or as I said, welcome to work. Welcome to work. So it's a really exciting day at GE today. We announced this morning that the board of directors selected John Flannery to be the CEO, the next CEO of GE. So we're really, really excited. So welcome to our employee broadcast. The first thing we wanted to do today, before we did anything else, was talk to you. Go right to the employees, have Jeff say some words and John say some words. So we're doing that first. We're also going to be, right now we're on Facebook Live, so this is out externally to the world. So, and that's because we're so excited we wanted to share this. So I want to say who I have here with me. I've got Jeff Immelt, I can't even say the name, the chairman and CEO of GE. John Flannery, the CEO of GE Healthcare, who's the newly selected CEO of GE as of August 1st. He'll be chairman as of January 1st as well. Jack Brennan is our independent lead director of the board, and we're really excited. Thank you, Jack, for joining us. And Susan Peters is our SVP of HR, and she's going to talk to us a lot about the process and what's next for employees. So John has been at GE for 30 years, and he's really well known inside the company and outside the company as a guy that focuses on team and culture, relentless focus on execution, and he's got broad global capability. And Jack will tell you more about that. That was really, really important to the board. And in terms of Jeff, for most of us, in fact, I think Susan would say almost all of us, given the nature of who works at GE these days, Jeff is the only CEO we've known. He's certainly the only CEO I've ever worked for. So, this is an amazing man that has transformed the company into a global digital industrial powerhouse. And what a phenomenal leader. So this is a day to honor one great man and celebrate another one. So I'm going to kick it off with Jeff so he can get us going.
Thanks, Dee. Good morning, everybody, and hello to everybody watching outside, both our employees and any investors, customers, whoever's out there. It's great to be here today. Probably one of the last days you're actually going to care what I have to say. So I know how that all works, and it's great to be a part of it. GE's a 125-year-old company, and I think everybody that works here understands that it's really, our strength is the collective. It's institutional strength. And it's always been a place where the company comes first above anybody else. And that's true at the top as well. So transitions are a natural part of how a company that's survived and thrived for 125 years works. And we've been on the process of really selecting the next leader of GE for probably the last 4 or 5 years. Jack will talk a little bit more about that. But we wanted a process that was really smart and fair. We wanted a process that was discreet, really, that we kept it kind of inside the house in terms of what our thoughts were, and so that we could do a good evaluation of who the next leader of GE should be. Now, while we were doing that, we kept running the company, ran it in an exceptional way. Over the last period of time, we've made major portfolio shifts in the company, really historic portfolio shifts. We've launched some of the most important new products in our history. We've continued to grow this great global franchise into the future. We've led a digital revolution in a place that we really face the future with great confidence, and we've executed financially. And I'm immensely proud of everybody in this room and everybody out there for what you've done for the company. I'm so proud of you, and there's just so many great things foundational about the company. But this is the right moment of change. 4 or 5 years ago, we thought the summer of 17 was the right moment in time. 16 years is a long time to run this company. Even though I love you all dearly, it's long enough. And change is good. So we thought this was a good time. We're standing up GE Baker Hughes, a lot of the portfolio stuff behind us, and it gives John a platform from which he can lead in the future. Now, John's going to talk a little bit about himself, but I've had a chance to see John do 5 jobs in the last 16 years. They really gave me the sense of the kind of person that can run the company. First one was really in kind of one of the GE equity businesses in the early 2000s, and he was in a really tough cycle. He spent a long time in my doghouse during those days. I got a chance to see how resilient John is. And then he moved to Asia to really grow our financial service business in Asia. And I got to see what a growth leader looked like and how he managed risk and opportunities in the Asian realm from a GE Capital standpoint. Then we moved him to India. And really in 2009, John was a leader that we really put in place to kind of see what could we do globally if we really put big-time leaders in important regions. And that was the precursor to the GGO organization. And I got a chance to see how John connected. We airlifted him in there in 2009. I came back a year later. He was the most popular guy in the country, so pretty amazing. Then we moved him to business development, and I got a chance to see how tough-minded he was, what a good capital allocator he was. We had many debates. I got a chance to work with him during the Alstom transaction. I got a chance to see how fast on his feet he was, and that was a good chance to work with him. And then the last 3 years in healthcare, he's done a fantastic job as an operator. So really, I think you say resilient, strategic, capital allocator, team builder, operator, risk manager. This is the perfect person to run this company, and really at the right time. So let me turn it over to John, but I couldn't be any prouder, and I speak on behalf, John, of all 300,000 plus of the GE team.
Great, thanks,
We look forward to your leadership. So congratulations.
Great. Thank you. So, first, I can assure you that not every conversation with Jeff has gone like that over the last 16 years. So I'm glad we're able to synthesize some of the other ones into that. But you're right, Deirdre, it's just another Monday morning, just rolled out of bed as another Monday today. I just say, in terms of how I'm feeling, things really just humbled on one level. In really 3 kinds of ways. It's an incredible opportunity to lead just an amazing company. But I think, in terms of 3 dimensions of feeling humbled, one is first, Jeff, just following in your footsteps. It's just an incredible job that Jeff has done transforming the company over time. It's a much simpler company. It's a deeper company. He was miles ahead of the world, really, in redefining us as a digital industrial company. I had a chance to work around and with Jeff on a number of those activities, and he just made a lot of transformative calls and, frankly, courageous calls, and I'd say frequently lonely calls. So an amazing repositioning of the company. We're in much better shape today to go forward. So an incredible work on the portfolio. The thing I would say watching you do that all the time, Jeff, was you did it with a lot of respect and protection of the company always, and investors, but especially customers and employees. You always had that perspective of how is this going to affect all the stakeholders of the company. I can say with me personally, as Jeff said, he's given me, he's taken more than his fair share of risk and chances, giving me different roles along the way and things to grow and learn and develop, and so I thank you for that. But I know that the 300,000 plus employees feel the same way about Jeff in terms of their admiration and respect and love for Jeff and what he's done for them and for the company. So those are big, big shoes to fill, and in every sense, those are big shoes to fill. So I'll be working on that for a while, I know. But second thing is just what a humbling is what a special company GE is. 125 years, but we've always basically been a key technology company that's transformed life around the world. It's nothing short of that. So if you look going back to the advent of electricity and applying that to industry, if you look at engine technologies and materials and things that allowed us to develop power generation and transportation, locomotives, aircraft engines, these are things that affect everyone around the world. Healthcare going from basic X-rays to MR machines and life science. So GE has always been a company that's mattered. We're poised to do that again. these initiatives in digital and additive and things like that are quantum changes ahead of us as a company. We're clearly going to lead in those spaces, but they're going to affect the world in a profoundly positive way. So that's a second humbling thing. And then I'd say the third thing is just all of you and the employees. As Deirdre said, I'm actually 10 days short of my 30th anniversary. It's June 22nd, but I have always...
You're probably going to make it.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm a little nervous you seeing that behind my back, but that's, I'd rather see you up here a little bit.
Kidding.
But I have just always loved the company. I remember the day I started like it was yesterday, and I've just always loved the culture, the meritocracy, the integrity, the compliance, the respect we have for each other, the teamwork. So I've always been proud to say that I work for GE and go home and tell my family and my friends, this is who I work for, this is what we do, this is why we matter. And I feel an incredible sense of, again, humility and responsibility to carry that forward with all of our 300,000 colleagues. So great honor, very humbled by it, super confident about the future and eager to get started in the process.
Great, thanks.
So,
thanks, John. So Jack, so what was the board looking for? Why John?
Well, Jeff did a great description of why John, and I think that's really where we started out. We were very rigorous and disciplined in developing a spec for who would follow Jeff Immelt. And I want to say here, Deirdre, just for a second, as a board of directors, we could not have had a better partner in this process than Jeff Immelt. Extraordinary. I've always had immense respect for Jeff. It's even higher today in how he played in this process. And it's just, you all should know, all 300,000 of you should know how effective your CEO was in helping us get to the right answer. And Jeff, I want to thank you in front of the entire employee base, because it really is extraordinary. And we come back, we start with one thing, which is character, right? GE needs the highest character leader possible. So an experienced, high-character leader who believes in GE's values and is committed to leading the company for the benefit of the owners, for the benefit of the employees and customers. That's table stakes. And the great part, if you're a director of GE, is, and we look and say, do we have an inventory of those people in this company? And the answer is we have a bucket full of people who have those character traits and that experience. And so start with that. There could never be a question about their commitment or character, period. Anything, and obviously John passes that in spades. And then you come down to, it's the next 10 years or whatever the time frame is. What do we need to ensure that this company capitalizes on where it's positioned today? And it's things like being adaptive and resilient. Really important, right? Really important. Jeff hit on those with John's experience. It's about being committed to the digital industrial nature of this company, right? This is a different company than when Jeff took over. It's the world's first digital industrial company, so they have to be committed to that. Global. This wasn't as global a company as I thought it was actually 15 or 16 years ago. And it is completely global today. So we need a globalist and people with great global experience to be in that leadership role. And then at the end of the day, we want somebody who, when they're sitting in that seat, not this seat, will have adapted and grown. And one of the terms that comes up in these kind of conversations today, which is sort of new in the parlance, is a learner. Mm-hmm. And you want somebody who's a learner and is curious and is thinking about the thing nobody else is thinking about. Because that's one of the things great CEOs do. It's one of the things Jeff Immelt has done for GE, is think about things that everybody else is too busy to think about. So those are the kind of character traits, and we're fortunate that we have great leaders and an inventory of them at GE. And John exemplifies them all in spades. So we couldn't be more pleased with where we're sitting today as a board of directors. And we represent the owners, and the owners are really pleased too. I've gotten a lot of input already about this decision, and they're really pleased as well.
That's great. So when you talk about being a learner, John, you should be worried because Jeff reads like 30 books a week. So I don't know how.
Well, we're very competitive on that front.
We exchange reading lists.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
We're one step ahead.
Good. So Susan, you've been in this even longer than Jack's been independently director, right? So tell the team how you feel today and what the process has been for you and what you've learned from it.
Thanks. I actually think this is great because it really represents the best of GE, because this is what we do. You should be proud that this is a company about leadership development, thinking about how we develop talent and people and succession. And this pinnacle role is really a representation of what we do across the system. And I think that's an important thing to know. And it really is amazing because, as Jeff and Jack Brennan said, we've been at this for 5 or 6 years, really looking at what does it take to lead in this complex, very difficult, challenging environment. And we really knew that we had to understand what that was. So we actually did a lot of research. We looked internally, people who were leading internally, how they led, how they won, how they failed, what they learned from the failures. We looked externally, other leaders, who they were. We actually looked at external candidates and bumped them up against our specifications. And the board made the decision to go with the internal slate that we were developing and moving around. We did research on what it takes to lead in an ambiguous time. And as Jack said, it really is this combination of being able to develop and grow and sort of make opportunity out of what appears to be chaos. And that's what Jeff has done for us, and I know John will do going forward. And I would just end by saying that, you know, we're a 125-year-old company, as everybody has said, and this, Jeff is our 10th CEO. Every CEO we've had has brought us to a new place, and then they've given the reins to the next person to bring us to the next new place, and I'm confident that that's what John's going to do. So this is something that you all should be extremely proud of. It represents the best of GE, the way the process was done with Jeff and the board working together to really make sure we did this in the best possible way.
So Jack, talk about timing, because to a lot of people it was a surprise this morning. So talk about the timing and how you think about that.
The fact that it was a surprise is a great satisfaction to all of us, I can assure you, okay? And your holding statement went nowhere, so
yes,
that's a good
there
thing.
You go.
That's
there
a
you
good
go.
thing.
There you go.
Listen, we started talking about this 5 years ago, this time frame, and we narrowed down on the summer of 17 as being best for Jeff, best for GE. You get the Project Hubble, the GE Capital done. Mm-hmm. We have Alstom integrated. We've got Baker Hughes about to launch. It couldn't be a better time. But we've been on a steady march, literally from 3 years ago this month, systematically with mileposts and milestones. I say more than jokingly, my boss to the left, who has. Much as I might like to take a month off or something along the way, and it just wasn't possible. And all of the processes played out the way we wanted them to and culminated on Friday with the unanimous selection. So I have to say, just as proud I am of Jeff and in this process, I'm really proud of the GE board because they marched to this schedule. We're deeply involved in the process of site visits and things. And as you say, there's chatter in the newspaper now and then, but this was our process announced this morning, and that's the way great successions happen. And that's the way a great succession announcement should happen for GE.
Any thoughts on the timing, Jeff?
I just completely agree with Jack. This is not a trivial decision for our investors and for the people in this room. We took it quite seriously, and it's the right, I think for all the reasons Jack said, we felt like this was absolutely the right time to do it.
And Susan, what about for employees? What's the advice you would give to employees today? And I know people are going to have mixed emotions. And it's just change. Change is scary in any situation, right?
Hard.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say a couple of things. First of all, since the news has been out for an hour or two, the incoming emails have been pretty intense, and there's quite a bit of emotion, actually, for Jeff. As Deirdre said at the outset, all of us have worked for Jeff for 16 long years. And
You could have done without the adjective on the years. I mean,
I think that's the way he might have felt about the years.
yeah, well, that's all right. But you're not supposed to. He's still your boss.
Absolutely. The truth is that this is a day for our GE employees to celebrate, because actually what it does is it represents what we do. We are about leadership and culture, and it's a chance to celebrate what we are as a company. We care deeply about leadership and development at all levels and moving people to various roles and experiences. We care deeply about the culture that we are a part of, which is fast, open, transparent, working together for great outcomes for our customers. And so I just think this is a day for us all to celebrate and not at the same time lose track of the fact that we have a quarter to deliver, we have a year to deliver, and that's what we love about GE, the people, the culture, is we get right back to work. Mm-hmm. So this is awesome and a day for us to reflect and celebrate, but we know we're all committed going forward as well.
I think, Deirdre, one of the things that, and this goes back to working with Jack, before I became CEO, is this notion of informality and access, which are such important parts of the GE culture. That basically informality means everybody matters in GE. We're all working together. Titles don't matter as much as the work matters. You matter. And then just access. Leaders are not meant to be anything other than shoulder to shoulder with all of you, doing important work together. And I think those are things that make changes like this easy, because people just gravitate to, hey, what's next? Let's go, right? And that's something that's always been special. I learned from my boss, great CEO. I think we carry that forward with John.
Best part about working here are the people, right?
Yeah.
Most days. John, so big news at healthcare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Karen Murphy is going to be is the new CEO. We announced this morning of healthcare. So you want to talk to the healthcare team for a minute there? Yeah.
So I had almost 3 years in the healthcare business. I would just say a few things to the healthcare team overall. First, I want to thank them for their patience. I came into that business with not a deep background there. So I still remember actually sitting through a meeting early on, and they were talking about USCAN, USCAN. And I was thinking, that must be one of our products. I don't know what it is, though. It turned out to be an acronym for US-Canada region. So they had to really put up with a lot. So I thank you for your patience. But the second thing is to say, it's an incredible industry. There's so much long-term growth in the healthcare industry. There's so much change in science. It's an amazing bedground for digital application. I think digital will be huge in that business. So I'm really confident about the future of the business, the industry, how it fits in GE. It's a classic GE infrastructure, technology, service, global business. So I think the broad macro outlook is bright. I think we're just scratching the surface of what we can be in that business. So I know Kieran and the team can take it another leg up for sure. And not to put any pressure on you, Kieran, if you're watching out there, but Kieran is an amazing leader. I've known Karen for about 10 years now, and just an incredibly astute healthcare professional, but a really powerful leader of people. And so I feel, great about what I'm turning over to our team in terms of leadership. And the whole team is fantastic, and I think Kieran's going to have a great run.
I always used to say that really the toughest and worst job in GE was running the healthcare business because of my background. And Kieran, I can honestly say that's going to continue.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I can vouch for both ends of that.
So sorry about that, brother.
That's true. That's true. So, Jack, you spent, the board of directors spends really, I don't think people realize how much time the board spends at businesses, on site visits and all over the world. So what are you seeing at the company? What are you excited about? What's the culture you're seeing?
I'm excited about everything. I think we're so well positioned as a company going forward, and it has to do with the 300,000 people and the culture. Frankly, it's the technology's great and the R&D is great, but so I thought I knew GE before I came on the board 5 years ago. I didn't know the substance of GE, which is the people and the cultural aspect. I'll give you just a few that are remarkable to me versus actually 5 years ago. Simplification. Felt like a program. It is core. Susan mentioned speed. I mean, the way this company pivots and reacts is unbelievable. So that's one. Digital. Mm-hmm. That's less than 5 years old. And how it permeates the mindset. When we go on site visits, you know, we're supposed to go here. I always go there. I don't like PowerPoint, so I go talk to random people. Digital is just core to who we are as an organization. You think about that. The other two things that really jump out at me are the global mindset, and global is part of diversity. How committed the company and the individuals in the company are to diversity, and how diversity makes GE strong. Mm-hmm. Whether it's your national background or your cultural background, it's amazing to see how diversity is such a core element of the culture here. And then to me, the last thing, and maybe it's the most important thing of all, it's been mentioned already, but just, you know, everybody in this place wants to win, but they want to win the right way. And, you know, the spirit and letter, when I joined the board, you know, they sent it to me, said, read it. Here's another book, you know, it's the compliance manual or something. But I think it's remarkable. Wherever, you know, you're watching a guy put an aircraft engine together someplace, and they'll be damned if that's going to be other than perfect. And that's one way of thinking about it. And then the other aspects of the spirit and letter are so important. So to me, that's what we talk about. And while it's fun to have new directors join the company, because you get a different perspective, but I would tell you all four of those things are front and center with new board members when they come back from their first or second site visit or spend time here or somewhere else. Yeah. It's remarkable. It's a great strength.
So you think about digital and culture. I mean, John, where do you think the company is today, and what do you think our top priorities are?
So listen, I think just from a process perspective, Deirdre, what I really want to do is I come in thinking through priorities. Is, you know, Jeff's encouraged, take a fresh look at the company. I've had background in the company broadly in the BD role in India. I have some perspectives around that. But I think really to do this justice, I want to start with a fresh look around the company overall. And I think with a sense of urgency. So I think there's so many things we do well and have always done well. And there's clearly some areas we need to improve on, I think, quickly. So no one's happy with the stock price right now, or some of the cash, you know, pictures that we've had. We know we can be better at those things. I want to focus on those things. So I'm going to do basically what I've done in the healthcare business. Spend a lot of time early on with investors, with customers, with employees, listening, hearing what, you know, people think about the company, and then really looking business by business and understanding competitive position, where we're investing, what are the priorities inside each of those businesses, and I want to stitch that all together. I'd say we've mentioned digital a few times. I know that will be a key thing weaving through every part of those discussions, and the San Ramon team is really vital to the whole company. But I want to go through a deep review with a sense of urgency, really come back in the fall with a broader set of recommendations. But it's building off a very, very strong base with great businesses and great leadership team, and we'll take it forward from there.
Okay, that's great. Susan, on leadership, how should the team think about leadership today, and how GE views leadership? And
yeah, great. Well, as we've mentioned today, we think leadership is sort of fundamental to GE. In many ways, it's what we're known for. Obviously, we're known for our incredible products and technology, the global nature of the company. But really, our employment brand is about leadership, and I think that's something we should all be proud of. And I think the process and the outcome today, the lead that Jeff gave us for 16 years and how we got to where we are today, and where John will take us, his reflection that we're going to get a chance to look at everything is right where we want to be. So, you know, leadership is really about the ability to reflect and learn. Individually, every one of you and all these guys up here, it's about learning how to reflect and learn. And I've had the privilege of working with Jeff Immelt almost every day of his tenure, like literally. And I have watched a human being reflect and learn every step, every day. And that's how he could be a CEO for 16 years. You have to reflect, you have to learn, you have to know how to pivot, you have to keep things calm in moments of chaos. We've seen a few of those along the way. And I think what the board selected in John Flannery is someone who demonstrated this same thing, this ability to reflect and learn. As we watched John go early in his career in Argentina and then eventually Japan and then really in India, where it was an unknown of how we put together all the GE businesses under him in one single P&L, and then in the BD job, and certainly most recently in healthcare, this ability to reflect on where things are, to dig deep and ask those questions that you're referring to, John, and then to learn and move forward with that learning. And Jeff has led us so well under that leadership banner, and I know we're going to get the same experience with John.
So I think you should be honest about how long you actually have worked with Jeff.
Okay, so do I have to?
Do you want a day count?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. So, Jeff, all right, this is an interesting little tidbit. Your 30th anniversary is June 22nd.
Yeah.
Your 35th anniversary is June 19. Am I wrong?
More or less.
More or less, close enough. So 30 and 35 years, and I've worked with Jeff 33 of those 35 years. So I have a lot of stories and a few pictures. I know, so we'll keep it
Mutually
mutual destructibility, right?
Yeah, Jeff's wife says that they have pictures of Susan too, so that's what. So Jeff, what would you tell the team and everyone watching? What's the most exciting thing about GE right now to you?
Oh, Gus, I think, Dee, I think it's always about owning the. First of all, I'd say, you guys are amazing. So first and foremost, we have such a good team. There's nothing we should fear. We can grab whatever we need to grab in the future. I think, Dee, it's really about. John kind of said it too. It's really what's happened in the past really doesn't matter ever. It's all about owning the future. And so when I look at the platform today, I'm really excited about some of the key innovations in digital and additive. I'm excited about our incredibly global footprint. I'm excited about the technologies that we have and the industries we play in. But I think the most important thing is just always when you're at GE, you have a chance to be the people that create the future and do it in a way that rewards our investors and our customers. But I think it's just one of the things that's always made the company so great. John's going to do it in his own way, and he's going to be true to himself and lead us. But that's what excites me so much is that we're in the right things at the right moment in time, and we have the opportunity to win for our people, for our customers, and for our investors.
That's great. So we're going to do a lightning round, John. Lightning round, okay? We'll see. Maybe we should ask your wife to do this. And see if
she can check the answers here.
Okay, all right. Which living person do you most admire?
My dad. Anyone who knows him would know why I said that.
Which talent would you most like to have?
Blues guitarist or dunk a basketball. Okay. Far off on both of those.
Or maybe. Oh
my God! I've gotten over that.
I was hoping for being a great CEO of GE.
I thought you already felt that way. No. Okay, so can I do this over again?
To be clear.
This is the lightning part.
Okay, so we're one for two. The dad thing I get. The second one's so good.
Good job, John.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do you most value in your friends?
Oh, I'd say trust and a wicked sense of humor.
What's your favorite band? This is a good one.
This goes Allman Brothers. So if we have any Allman Brothers fans out there.
Allman Brothers.
Pass that down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Which word or phrases do you most overuse? Maybe the healthcare team could answer.
Oh, they could answer that. They would certainly say at work, I say, hey, I'm just thinking out loud, which is usually I'm about to disagree with you. But it's a nice way to say that.
Good tip.
I'd say the same thing at home. My kids would say, when we're having a debate, and usually if I'm losing, I finish by saying, well, hey, I'm just saying. And that kind of, winds up the debate. So,
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm going to remember that one.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
And, last one is new puppy's name.
This is my wife Tracy's idea, but we got a black lab puppy about 12 weeks ago, or is 12 weeks old. For the Red Sox fans out there, his name is Mookie Betts. So he answers to Mookie or the promise of food, either one right now.
Yeah. So you guys going to move to Boston?
Absolutely move to Boston.
Yeah.
We're really excited about
Yeah.
that.
So Boston,
Yeah.
we're here. We're in, right? That's So Jeff, any closing thoughts before I throw it back to John for some?
Yeah, it's funny. I've had 1,000 thoughts, as you can imagine, in the last couple days. But the one I think I'd share is just to reflect back on 16 years. You know, I got this job in 2001, and for really, I'd say all of the country, or certainly all of American business, we lived in a time period of complete certainty, economic perfection, right? And then we woke up and we faced Enron and the 9/11 tragedy and the power bubble and a time period of just disruption and change. And so when you sat there in 2001, you could have never predicted the environment of the past 16 years. But as leaders, as teams, as GE, what we became was more resilient, was incredibly resilient, tighter together, stronger together. And that's the platform we've built together right now. So, you know, we sit here today in a sea of uncertainty, but the foundation we have has never been stronger. And it's because of the resilience that we built over that time. So I think that's 2001 to 2017. I love where we are right now, and I love the leader that's going to take us to the future. You know, to investors who are out there, I would say, I always knew that my name wasn't over the door and that you own the company and worked every day on your behalf. To customers, I would say, this is a company that values our customers, that wants to do the right thing for them, and that wants to be successful for them. And you can always count on us. And to the team, I just say, I love you all. You've been amazing, and I'm honored.
Jack, before we go to John, any closing thoughts you'd like to share?
Listen, I've been an investor in GE for a long time and couldn't imagine somebody that is a better role model for John than Jeff Immelt. And it's around that ultimate test, and it's character and integrity. Character and integrity, commitment like nobody I've ever seen to an organization. And frankly, I'm thrilled that Jeff's going to be John's mentor for the next 6 months. And I think we as a board of directors, but we're always representing the owners of the company, couldn't ask for a better transition, more supportive predecessor for John. And we're incredibly grateful, and we have immense confidence in this man.
Thank you.
He's going to do a great job. So we start today with phenomenal confidence for GE.
That's great. Susan, any last thoughts? Or do you not want to?
I can only say that it's been the honor of my life to work with you, Jeff, every step of the way. I don't know what else to say.
John.
I thought I might get off the hook with Jeff's powerful response, but then you just brought it right back into my lap with yours. So thanks for that. Listen, I would just echo a lot of what we've heard all morning, which is, starting with you, Jeff, just an incredible impact on the company, an incredible legacy, an incredible friend of mine and mentor of mine. And I have been in your doghouse, and that's okay too. And I've been out of it. And I've just, I can't convey how much the employees of the company respect and admire and appreciate what you've done. So as my email has been popping this morning, that's the first message that comes out is you, about you. So we owe that legacy. The second thing is just, I have extreme confidence in how you position us and where we're going, and that GE is going to be an incredible company for another 125 years. So I think We've got a track record we can be proud of. We've got a window on the future where we're going to be even better. We've got to build on our strengths. We've got to make sure we're also known as an execution company and deliver for all the constituents, including customers and employees, and especially shareholders. They own the company at the end of the day. And the employees, you know, we're the vehicle to get there. It's an incredible team. It's an incredible culture. And I think we can do no better in honoring your legacy than just performing and executing and building the company for the future. And I know we're going to do that. I'm highly confident in the team and the company. And again, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks, guys. All right. Thank you. Now they want you to go back to work. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.